When I drink alone, I prefer to be on YouTube Live or Twitch Live right now at 5D Podcast. Nope, that's not the URL. I screwed up the intro in
In
5D.
5D.
I literally just because I was like typing it in as I was talking about, my brain was like, "Don't talk about the thing you're typing about." But that is what I was.
Trying to talk about.
The actual URL is youtube.com/5D podcast/live. I think that's what'll get you there.
Yep.
Failure.
You know what? That's okay, because you weren't here for the last time I went live on
Ooh,
the
was it worse than
YouTubes.
that?
Probably. I was really baked, and I was playing Everspace 2 while trying to review it live and talk about it, while also
Nice.
talking to the chat. I feel like I was all over the place for a podcast. I think the live show was great. People that could see me because
Yeah,
I was doing a thing. So I was talking about the
right.
video game. So I had to like quasi narrate the video game as I was going off for the audio, which, you know, probably not a great podcast, but a
Yep.
fantastic piece of content for the YouTube channel.
Oh, and where can they see that piece of content for the YouTube channel?
Yeah, that's in 5D podcast on YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTube.
the way you did that was better. People know how to search for somebody on YouTube at this point. I don't need to give you an exact dot
Yeah.
com /user /
The only one that's still cool for is Twitch. You always have to be like twitch.tv/metagame network.
because nobody gets the .tv. It's not natural.
It's not natural. Also, there's so many motherfuckers out there that
Yeah.
you got to point them exactly where it is. I've technically got it now to where I can stream to all of our Twitch accounts, the ones that exist, at the same time if I wanted to, but I'm just not willing to pay the $30 a month at this point.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh man. So I've got a bit of a story and a rant, and then that's gonna lead into a review. So this is the welcome to me being. I'm not really mad. It's just really fucking
He's
annoying.
mad about it. That's what's happening. He's mad about it.
Hella. No. So I had 4 days off in a row. I haven't had 4 days on off in a row that weren't like pre-planned vacation ever. Like, well, long time. And the beauty about these is that if I go on vacation, work still happens. But no, these were
Right.
just 4 days. The entire company shut down. Two were the weekend, and one of them was like Veterans Day. The other was just like a mental health wellness day that they were like, hey, you get one of these every so often. We'll just tack it on to this already long weekend. Boom, have fun. Um, and I was like, you know what? I am gonna sit down because I just finished Control like 2 weeks ago. I started Second Son, but I was getting a little burnt out on it.
Oh, Second Son's pretty short.
Yeah, but it's got that whole like clearing the map thing that those
Oh,
types
yeah,
of
yeah,
games
yeah,
do.
yeah. If you're going for that.
Well, that's just how I play those games. I almost
Same.
do grid by
Same.
grid, but it's like it's chaos grid. I go, I'm clearing this entire section, and then I go, ooh, shiny stuff over there, and I'm gonna clear that
Yeah.
entire section over there. I don't do meticulous. I just sometimes you just want to like even the Spider-Man game, you just want to swing around. Anyways, so in this particular case, I got burnt out because I the most recent of these types of games that I did was Assassin's Creed Odyssey,
Assassin's
and
Creed Blurgity
and
Blur
it's dude,
37. It's
it
fine.
it
They're all
broke
the
me.
same.
It's so fucking long. There's missions upon missions upon area. The maps are huge, and it just got to the point where I was like, wow, this is so much content. I need to stop because I 100%ed Origins. Assassin's Creed Origins,
So
100%. Went into Odyssey and I just broke. I was like, I can't. I need.
I do gotta say though, if you were looking for a game that was going to be shorter, because I know what you review, or you told me a little bit about what you're going to talk about, so I know the audience doesn't yet. But I will throw this out there now. You picked the wrong fucking genre for something
No,
shorter,
hold on, hold on.
and B,
Don't get ahead of me yet.
Don't you dare tell me about how a game is too long when you know exactly what game I'm playing and exactly how
No.
long I've been fucking playing it.
I'm not complaining about how long it was. I was complaining about how tedious it was because it was, like Second Son, one of those where it's just repetitive tasks that you have to clear in an area of a map to unlock this boss thing that gets you further, right?
Sure. Okay.
So that's my biggest complaint. If a game is solid, I prefer that it's longer, right? But it was so fucking tedious. Like, I know people complain about multi-discs and all that bullshit, but dude, Final Fantasy VIII, 4 fucking discs. I don't give a fuck. It was great.
Same with 9. And was 7 3 or 4? 7's also
I think
4 discs.
7's about 4, yeah.
Yeah, 7, 8, and 9 are all 4 disc.
So, anyways, don't complain. However,
well, mine's 1 disc. It's still 3 times as long as any of those games.
That's true.
And that's just for the story.
But 20 years of technology.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm glad you brought up Final Fantasy because what I was doing was revisiting a save from Final Fantasy 15. So this is my 3rd attempt at playing Final Fantasy 15, like finishing it. So I started.
15 is the one with the bros and the convertible, right?
Yes.
Which I have not played 15.
I'm super into. I feel like I feel like if BTS were in a movie about what this is about, that's what it would be. I'm so.
I gave up after was it 13 or 14? Whichever one has lightning.
That's not 14. 14's one of the online
then
ones.
It's 13.
It's 13 and like it had 2.
Yeah,
13,
and
1 and 32.
I've still never even finished 13.
I couldn't. Yeah, same. That's where I stopped. That's where I gave up. The first Final Fantasy I ever played was Final Fantasy 8. And then I went through and started playing the rest of them. But the one that I could never finish was X2, the Dress Fears.
I didn't even try.
I got into it enough to figure out the system, then I went, I'm just done.
I don't play Final Fantasy sequel games.
Yeah. So anyways, but I hadn't done 15, so I was like, you know what? I have the Switch. I've been playing it a lot. I've done.
Is it? Oh, I didn't know it was out on Switch.
No. So don't get ahead of me yet.
Okay.
So I see Final Fantasy 15 on the Switch, and I'm like, oh shit, cool. And I look at it, and it's something like, look this up for me, but I'm pretty sure it's like Pocket Edition or something along those lines, a diminutive. And I didn't really understand what that meant.
Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition HD for the Nintendo Switch.
There you go. So it is a
God.
It's a dumbed down version of Final Fantasy 15 where it's very chibi. It feels like what they did to Arc. You know how the Arc for Switch. I know. Side note, Arc, the fucking sucked on the Switch. So then they did I
didn't even know they released it on the Switch.
Diminutive edition, kind of the same kind of concept, and that one ran way better. So they did the same thing. Apparently, Final Fantasy 15 takes a little bit more power than the Switch can handle. So they did the Pocket Edition. It is shorter, and it's also obviously not as intensive because it's more cartoony.
So literally what it says here, and this is from imore.com. Thank you, imore.com. Whoever the fuck you are. Where did it go? Okay. While the original game was critically acclaimed for amazing visuals and open world system and story, Pocket Edition simplifies all of that. Think of the Pocket Edition as the abridged version of Final Fantasy 15. With Pocket Edition, instead of the hyper-realistic character models of the cast, you have cute chibi character models, which may or may not appeal to everyone. And rather than going with a third-person perspective, Pocket Edition utilizes a fixed camera angle perspective where you point and click to tell your characters where to go and what to interact with. Looking at some screen grabs. Okay.
So I didn't know it was going to be that bad. I honestly thought it was just going to be kind of a D graphics kind of thing. Like, hey, we made chibi because the Switch can't handle the thing.
Yeah.
But no, it's actually different. Stories are slightly different. Missions work differently. It's a whole kind of rework. So I stopped playing it because I was like, I'm really not into this. This isn't. First, I don't like Chibi to begin with. But even so, like the actual game system wasn't. So I abandoned that, and then in a Humble Bundle or one of those holiday bundles, I got it on the PC, and I did get through the intro, and then something happened. I'm sure it was. I think it was around the time that I ended up selling the house originally, right? Like, boom, bailed. Little time for that. So now I was like, hey, yeah, fuck it. I've got this save that I started on an Xbox on another failed attempt at it. I'm going to fucking play. I have 4 days. I think I can finish this game in 4 days if I do nothing but play this fucking game during the day, right? Like, obviously I have to eat, dogs, that whole thing. But every other moment, fuck it. I got no plans. Let's go. I get a day into it, and the next time I try to load it, it's like, hey, do you own this game? And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes. I own this game. They're like, put the disc in. I'm like, no, you motherfuckers. You guys gave this game to me as part of my subscription to your bullshit service. Fucking Xbox Game Pass. And like, the weird part is that the Xbox goes, okay, cool. Hey, do you want to troubleshoot the game? I'm like, fuck yeah, I want to troubleshoot the game, you bitch. So I click on the thing, and then it like errors out, and the game starts playing. So I get another day of it. The next day, like, and mind you, Final Fantasy, I don't think I was even halfway through at this point. So,
Sure.
The next day, it does the same thing again. So I'm like, all right, fuck it. Troubleshoot it. Nothing. Troubleshoot it. Nothing. Like, I go to the store page and it's like, yeah, you want to pay fucking $80 for this or $60, whatever the fuck. Because of course all they have is the enhanced edition or whatever, royal edition, whatever they fucking call it. Because that's the one I was playing. So they're like, yeah, if you want to keep playing your shit, give us money. I'm like, fuck you. This is part of the membership. So I went in and I looked in Xbox Game Pass, and apparently, I'm sure it's a licensing problem, they don't have it on Game Pass anymore. So even though it was a free game that I had installed, that they gave me as part of the Xbox membership, not even part of just the monthly Game Pass. This was part of that like monthly free game thing.
Yeah.
And they took it back, and I'm like, that's
no takesies, backsies.
bullshit. I was like, I own that digital content, you sons of whores.
They have a funky thing with, and I think I talked about it on the podcast when I did it, but Doom Eternal is super wonkety to actually get downloaded. When you try and get it off Game Pass. Like if you go to the Doom Eternal page and hit download, it only gets you multiplayer mode.
That's what happened to me.
You have to go find Doom Eternal something, and that's the only way you can get. And you still have to install multiplayer mode to get it to work, if I remember right.
Yep. It's so fucking stupid. I've tried to play it a couple of times. At this point, I'm just like, I don't care enough.
The value that I've gotten out of Game Pass, I think, is really good. Especially for somebody who has a little bit more time to sit around and play games than I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like just right now, my personal life, I don't have tons of game time, but I have consistently found games to play on Game Pass that like, or even try, you know? There have been games that I've been like, ooh, I want to give this a shot. Yeah, I like this. I'm going to go pick up a physical disc.
Well, I'm just mad.
I think the value's there.
I'm mad about this particular instance.
That definitely has a lot of bugs and bullshit.
I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like, that's not how this works. And if I really gave a shit, I would pick a real fight. I have the game on the PC. I think they have the cross-connect bullshit. I might be able to get the save and run it anyways. Like, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Right.
It just pissed me off. Well, then, now I had, another day and a half or so? Or I don't even remember. It was probably 3 days I had left. because it was a half a day and a day. I don't know. I don't know how days work anymore. Ever since COVID, like I don't go outside much.
Yeah, the outside's awful.
It is, really is. I love indoors.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I'm like, you know what? I want to play something like Final Fantasy, right? I didn't want a like hardcore JRPG, so I didn't go for like any like even we were talking about like Persona. I was just like, I don't want that. Final Fantasy is like JRPG through all whole kinds of filters. It's almost not even the same thing anymore.
Yeah.
So like I was looking for that. And I started I thought I was like, man, one of the launch games that I recall, well, quasi launch games for the Xbox, the new one, the Xbox Series X, is Scarlet Nexus. And I'm like, man, I kind of want to play it.
I don't know this game.
So, quick setup. I thought it was a sequel to something. It's not. It's its own standalone thing. So, a lot of points for that. Like, I really like new series and things that are coming out. They're their own thing.
Yeah.
Like some folks.
There's way
like,
too many franchises and sequels
Yep,
and bullshit.
exactly.
So original IP.
So kudos to that. I actually bought this game, but because it wasn't going to be released at the same time that the Xbox Series X was, I had to wait a little bit, and I had forgotten about it. And I have the disc. I just can't fucking find it because my office is in disarray still from the move. Yeah, it's been a year, but that's just how it goes. I'm sure it takes a long time to just empty them boxes. However, it was available on Xbox Game Pass, so I downloaded it. Hey, and I don't know how to feel about it. So I have now sunk relatively like at least 20 hours, I would say.
Turn-based or live action combat?
Live action combat.
I'm automatically less interested.
Yeah, and see that's what did it for me.
Yeah, keep going.
So yep. By the way, Final Fantasy 15 is also live action combat.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
That's part of. I didn't play 12 either.
Yeah, I don't remember 12.
I don't do Final. Nope. Nope.
I like them. I wanted to be able to like swing at stuff. Anyways, here's why I don't know how to feel. The graphics, fantastic. It is a very pretty game. The animated bits. It's almost a playable comic, is what it really is, or manga in this case.
Magan. No, we're going with Magan.
Because what you get is like there are videos strewn about, but mostly you just get portraits of characters
and dialogue.
And well, there's voice, but their mouths don't necessarily move. Oh yeah, by the way, great voice acting. I'm in, and the control system is a little complex. Like when you're doing attacks, there's a lot of memorization, and I know that's part of the thing that you'd absolutely hate. Like you to do certain attacks, you you have to remember X, hold the right button while you're doing this other thing.
No.
So the concept is for the gameplay, you have companions as other games do, but you have these gauges for each of your companions that is a power that they can use that you can leech. And you infuse your attacks with theirs, and additional bonus environmental attacks are also laced through with their power. So, an example, one of the powers is called Duplicate. So, while you're leeching from their power as a sort of conduit, you pick a fucking bus and you duplicate it. So instead of having your normal attack where you just smash the person with this bus that you're moving with your mind, now you have two of them. And it's a different quick time event to make them do different things. Like so now you have two that you can like bring down or like smash into the center or whatever, right? Different different combination of companions gives you different combos based on their power and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's fairly complex, but it's kind of fun. Their level up system it's a little funky. It's kind of like, do you remember Second Son, where it's almost like a spider web?
Yeah.
In this, it's like
It's very Final Fantasy X. You have the sphere grid.
Yeah, it's very brain synapses and lines, and they add things, and so it's kind of funky. You have to unlock things like air dashing, so there are moves that are stuck behind these level ups. You do get plenty of the points, but obviously to do the really good stuff and get the really good combos. I think maybe it's because I don't play these kinds of games a lot, so I did get my ass kicked in fights because the game's like,
because you're bad, because you need to get good scrub.
Yeah, because I need to get good. I have gotten better, but the game almost screams, no, not like that. Do you know what I mean?
I just ran into a fight in Persona 5, and like the difficulty ramp on it was insane. And I went online to go like, hey, am I insane? Or is this difficulty just fucking redunculous? And pretty much every thread I read was like, oh, this whole fight, 50 hours into this game, the whole fight is really just a mechanic check to make sure that you're using this very specific mechanic in a very specific way. And if you don't, it's brutal. And even if you do, it's still really brutal. Probably just go somewhere else and train an over level to get through it, because that fight's just ridiculous bullshit. But it's that same kind of thing where it's like, oh, this mechanic, well, this fight is just going to hyper focus on making sure that you're using this very specific mechanic the very specific way we want you to use it for this one fight.
You know which other game did that? I know you and I played it, but The Secret World?
Yes.
Remember that fucking fight to try and get to more portals? Jesus fuck. It was like, hey, you're way over leveled for this, but he's going to kick your ass no matter what you do unless you do this one fucking thing. An ability that you may have not even wanted to ever think of, but It's this one fucking thing. And it was like, oh, you're just teaching me one thing, but hiding a bunch of content behind it. So yeah. It's not
this one did the whole, there's infinite waves unless you can find a way to kill all 4 enemies at the exact same time. And you only have 2 rounds through the turn-based combat to do it, or they refresh.
Okay. Yeah.
And then 5 waves of 4 enemies at a time doing exactly that same scheme.
So yeah, and in this, it's not quite that egregious where you go, fuck it, I'm done. But it's more.
I was close.
Yeah. So was I.
I seriously had to keep reminding myself, you're 50 hours in. You don't do 50 hours of something to stop.
That's true. Fucking chimp it out, man.
That's what happened.
Well, and this one, so you get to certain fights where they're like, hey, you're doing normal stuff, boss fight. And I'm like, okay, cool. But it was like, man, am I sucking? Or is this fight one of those that you have to lose?
You developed an abusive relationship. Am I doing something wrong? Is this my fault?
Well, yeah, exactly, because I kept dying, but it's one of those where the game wants to continue. So they like, you get your ass kicked, and they just go, oh, hey, other person, that was great. And I'm like,
good job. And you're like, no, it wasn't.
I was like, wait, what?
Bad job.
No, like the other person. So you get to choose from 2 characters. Sorry, I buried the loop.
Oh.
You get to choose from 2 characters. And I chose the girl because she's ranged, and I generally play ranged.
You play ranged, yep.
But she's not really ranged. So ranged to these folks doesn't mean you're far away. It means you're still pretty close, but your attacks reach further. So, his attacks is very melee. He has a sword. She has throwing knives that she spins around her with her mind.
2 squares.
Right? So yeah, it's like 2 or 3 squares versus like
Yeah.
if you had a gun, you go 6, 7 squares or whatever. Anyways, so that's why I picked her. But like at one point, you fight him, and it just came fucking out of nowhere, and he like interrupts fucking everything, and it just was one of those things until I realized they're like, oh no no no, for this fight we want you to hit him with your magic powers. It's not really magic in the game. Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to special.
You have to do the special, and the special gets built about hit. So what you're supposed to do, and this is your
Just
first...
fuck off somewhere else, build up your special, fight him, drop your special. Oh my god. That's a thing you should want to do, not a thing you should have to do.
Well, and the worst part for this is that it's like your powers, which recharge based on you hitting. However, if you haven't navigated that brain skill properly, your gauge is this fucking big. So it wasn't even that I wasn't willing to fucking do it. So that was the first step. Then the next step was, okay, I fucking like, now I understand what I have to do. I'm gonna fucking do it. And I popped in 20 more milligrams, and I was like, I'm gonna hyper focus, and I fucking went and I did it. However, I was missing part of the equation. Part of using your powers is all about the environmentals. So crates, cars, lampposts, and
all things I think of when I think of environment.
Correct. So you have to like throw boxes and shit at this motherfucker, and he can dodge them. Or if you're really good, you can hit this one mechanic, and you can dodge when he throws shit at you and throw it back. But
but it's like Rock Band extreme level timing.
Exactly, with no visual cues.
Nice.
Like he'll start concentrating, and then that means that from some direction, an object will come at you in the near future. So I'm just like, okay.
Yay.
So I have to either fucking be a precog and dodge, or I have to hit this son of a bitch while he's concentrating to interrupt him. But not with my knives, my sharp blades that make me dance and make me all cool. No. Also, by the way, for this fight, no companions, so you have none of the leech powers. Solid. Yeah. So there aren't enough things in the environment to really fucking break him down because he has a second stage and they don't refresh things. So
this is JRPG.
You beat the shit out of him on his first stage. He's got not one but 2 fucking life bars. He's got armor, which only certain attack types are really effective against him. Against armor. And then he's got his health bar. So, first phase is bring all the armor down. Got it. And then you can start getting his health. The whole time he is fucking you up. And remember, he has environmental attacks too. So not only are you running out of shit to throw, he is also throwing shit at you that you can't throw again. So it's this almost fight of fucking attrition. And I think it's one of those fights where they were just like, yeah, you probably won't win this. It's fine. Just move on. But I am not that kind of person.
But I took that personally.
I 100% did, because they were just like, hey, dude, you did so good. I was like, that was not a fair fight. One, he's way over leveled for me. What is this bullshit? And you know how I hate games that just tell you that, hey, you lost this fight.
You have a particular hatred for that trope.
I do. So then I go on the fucking internet and I go, is this a fight you just need to lose? Like, no spoilers. I'm not trying to fucking get strategy. Is this a fight you're supposed to lose? And they're like, the first time you fight such and such. And I was like, okay, done. That's all I read. Gone. Mike, so you can win this. So it took me 5 fucking tries because, and it was so infuriating. Once you lose, it doesn't let you load a save. It goes into a cutscene. And you can skip it, but then it goes into this other phase where you're technically walking around, but there's a dialogue box from someone talking to you for another like 3 minutes.
Don't you miss the good old like PS1 days? You'd be like, fuck this, reset, and the game would just take you right back to a load screen.
Oh my god. I'm just like, well, I was almost thinking like, man, oh, I can't do that. The Xbox is so fucking far away nowadays because it's all wireless that I can't get up and just push the fucking button.
So, have you ever sat down and played through Kingdom Hearts?
No, never.
Okay. I'm wondering if you and I shouldn't do a 3-game exchange. I'll fucking play through Mass Effect if you fucking play through Kingdom Hearts. But the opening to Kingdom Hearts has 4 battles that are of a similar vein to that one. They are truly the first 4 battles you do, and therefore training battles. Okay. But as you get to the later of the 4 training battles, you're probably going to lose more than you win the very first time you play the game, because you're still getting used to those mechanics and just sort of how things move and how things work. He's probably gonna kick your ass several times, and you're gonna have to take multiple passes. But the worst part, it's very quick to reload. You can fight him as many times as you want, but he keeps score, and he will remind you, even if you win, well, the score is still 3-2. The score is still 4-6. The score is still like whatever. So you always want to have the higher win ratio. Like, it's not good enough to beat him once if he's beaten you 3 times, because he will remind you.
Oh, that's gonna be infuriating as well. I'm gonna have to play Kingdom Hearts on 2 separate consoles and practice.
They are apparently doing a Switch release, so I will be replaying Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 again.
I might play it on the Switch, although
Honestly, I don't think they'll work very well on Switch. I think they're going to be really I want them to be great. I personally think they will be really awful.
I after the Pocket Edition, I will wait. But all right. So, anyways, I hyper focus. Even after that, I was like, okay, so it has to be a combination of like hitting him, dodging, because you got to build up your fucking power, hitting him, dodging. Use your powers, try to get the combos, all at the same fucking time. And that's, you just have to champion through it and try not to use all of the environmentals to do more hitting and more dodging. So you have an environment left for phase 2 to use. Cool. Got it. And then something weird happened. I beat the shit out of him, and quick action events start. And I get through these quick action events, and it goes straight into phase 2. And in phase 2, it was hard, right, and everything, but all the environment was there because this weird quick time event got through it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I just beat the shit out of him in phase 2 because I have everything. I have all the environment. My fucking power bar hasn't even been gotten down, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I'm like, does the game know that I'm restarting and it took pity on me? What the fuck just happened? Or have I been missing this fundamental fucking mechanic this whole fucking time? Right? Like, somehow I was supposed to get this quick time event to go, and I have no idea how I did it. And the worst part is, I fought that character again, because obviously I already spoiled it. You fight him more than once. And it was the same fucking thing. I somehow triggered this QuickTime event, and I have no idea how. I have no idea what exact combination of buttons or attacks versus the. I don't fucking. Is it an interrupt? I have no fucking clue. So I don't know how to feel about this game because mechanics wise, it obviously has kept me going enough to be interested and to continue to play, but now I'm having trouble with the story.
Bad
Because
story is not something that's going to get fixed, unfortunately.
and
If it's
that's
got a
just-
bad story, it's got a bad story, and no amount of great gameplay is going to fix that.
the problem is that I want to know more about the world, but they're using so many fucking tropes. There was a big reveal that if I told you the subject matter, you'd probably be able to tell me about it with what I've told you.
My personal vote: cut and run and play Persona. You can get it for free on PlayStation.
Well, I already cut and run, and I spent the whatever remaining time I had staying up pretty late playing Everspace 2. Which was what the disaster...
That's not how you pronounce Persona 5.
Right? That's what the disaster cast was about last week. I tried to show it on the screen, but apparently it's time to build a new PC, and I've already parted one out. It's going to be fucking beautiful. And problem is, all the parts are available, except I can't get a video card.
Yeah.
It is cheaper to buy a pre-built one that includes the video card you want than going on eBay to try and get just the video card.
Yeah.
So depending on how I feel or how Black Friday ends up,
you ain't getting shit.
Digital sales. I'm just talking about those pre-builds that go on sale. I might just buy a fucking pre-build, rip out the video card, and put it into mine. How fucking entitled do I feel right now? Jesus fuck. But anyways,
all I will say, and all joking aside, all kidding aside, because I know I talk about it all the time, legitimately, if you're looking for another JRPG to give a shot, I am not even the only person who will say Persona 5 is the JRPG to play if you don't like JRPG. And not because it breaks all the tropes, but because it does the most palatable version of them.
Okay.
And I will even go so far as to say, when I first started playing the game, I knew it was one half RPG, one half like relationship sim. And when I say relationship, I don't mean exclusive, like let's pick up these girls, but literally balancing your personal relationships with everybody in your life and knowing that that kind of feeds into combat. Like weirdly, the relationships you build with people, you get new powers, you get new abilities by building relationships with people. I started off going, boy, that's going to be the part that I slog through, and then I'll play it for the turn-based JRPG combat that I love. I swear to fuck, this weekend, I was like, I can't wait to be done with this repetitive battle bullshit that I'm just good at because I play a lot of JRPG, and it does use the old paper, rock, scissors, element weakness bonus kind of thing. A little more advanced and a little more nuanced. Like some things go out of type a lot or like whatever. Ooh, excuse me. But sorry, just got done polishing off an old Rasputin. It's old and dead. I don't think that's their slogan, but it should be. Okay, so I swear to fuck, I was playing this whole weekend going, God, I can't wait to be done with this RPG shit. I'm creepily close to dating both my high school teacher and the local goth doctor. And I'm fascinated. I've got to say, I'm totally taken. Like I'm going through parts of the game that are storyline, and it goes, no, you can't go out tonight and hang out with your friends. You're too tired and you have to stay home. And I'm like, no, I want to go hang out with my friends and build up these, like, legitimately, I'm in. I'm 100% in on the social side of this game out of nowhere. And yes, I am currently dating my teacher. I've convinced her. I've wooed my high school teacher into becoming my girlfriend. Because I can.
This is fucking hilarious. And by the way, you're not the only one. You could ask my wife. I romance in every fucking game where you can romance. I played Boyfriend Dungeon. I mean, I give zero fucks. Like, if it's done
this game has 8 different relationships you can manage, and it 100% lets you do all of them. There is a thing that happens if you cheat on any or all of your partners, but you can absolutely romance damn near everyone.
Dude, I remember Mass Effect. I was always like,
Yep.
romance.
Could you do more than one in Mass Effect?
Depending on who, kind of, but eventually you had to pick one because there was always that like together scene before the end missions kind of deal.
Oh yeah. Now this lets you ride them to the end.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, but Mass Effect was also like
I think we should
made
do
for
a game.
people that are repressed.
Maybe once I finish Persona, you and I should talk about doing a little like mini review, mini YouTube series game exchange. Game for game. You do all three Kingdom Hearts. I do all three Mass Effects.
Yeah, that lengthwise, I think it's about right. Yeah.
I've
Or
yeah.
are we just doing main storyline? Like, what are we doing?
I mean, I wouldn't claim you should 100% because I think both games after a while get this really ridiculous like collect and craft kind of bullshit. Like craft every item. No. There's my simple answer to that. No. But I do usually say main story plus like sort of like my personal goal for most games I play, main story plus in-game collectibles. So like if I'm doing Spider-Man, I want to play the whole map. I want to collect everything. I want to defeat everything. Okay. But like challenge maps.
So like 90%.
Yeah, 80-90%. Like I don't do challenge maps. I don't do achievements. If there's any sort of race and you know me in fucking races, I'm like enough to complete it. I'm not going for gold in all the goddamn races. Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I mean, even in Ratchet and Clank, the race ones, I'm just like, whatever I get on my first time that passes.
Yep. Anything that involves any sort of like bronze, silver, gold.
The only thing in the Ratchet and Clank games, though, the secrets during those like racing levels, I'll replay to get the golden bolts because that's an in-game collectible.
Yes, same.
Yep.
But I'm not going for a gold medal. Unless you absolutely have to. I don't do that. I hate it.
Yeah. No. So maybe we'll have to check, but I don't know what to give this. I had to take a break. I looked at my wife. I was like, I don't know that I can keep doing this. I'm just like, I'm just so tired of the story. It's so. I think the biggest sin so far is that everything would be fine if instead of the talking that they do, because they talk a lot even while they fight, instead of saying the like non sequiturs and the stupid bullshit, if y'all just explained what is actually happening to each other, it's all a giant fucking misunderstanding and everything would be fine.
It's a 90s sitcom if only there were cell phones.
Right. It's just like, wow. And at one point, I don't want to give the big reveal, right? Because it's a JRPG and I'm just thinking, I'm just not made for these games. But at one point, a character knows what's going to happen. 100%. They know exactly how to avoid it. And they do everything to avoid it except the one thing that totally proves the thing that they were trying to avoid. It just like, okay, like you legitimately knew everything. And yeah, that's where I was just like, I just don't know that I can continue. The fighting is fun, and once you start getting the hang of it, it's interesting. It feels like if you took, once you were really powered up in The Force Unleashed, if you took that and made it just more complicated. That's how it feels, because you start to use your powers, and you got different items that you can use, but they use different key combos. So like normally you're using your power, you're using R2, right, to grab things. But there's bigger things that you can only use with a certain power that use L2. And you're like, why? It's the same object, just bigger. Why? And it's not even, sometimes it's bigger. Like, you use R2 to hit someone with a car, but there's these particular vending machines that use L2 for. And I'm like, I have no fucking clue. Anyways, I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. I think I might try to champion it through just to say that I did, but at this point, it's like a 3 out of 5.
It's not a 0 out of 5.
No, it's not. It's not hot garbage. Like if you like JRPGs, I think you'll like it. Again, it's pretty. The voice acting is solid. The fights are fun. It's a little reminiscent of God of War 2, I think. Right, once you really got the extra powers and all that other goofy shit.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. But anyways, that whole story was to say that now I'm playing Everspace 2 and I have sunk way more time than I wanted to, especially because it's early access and they might wipe my save.
They're
Might
gonna
have
wipe your
to.
save.
I'm gonna have to show up and write a very stern letter that I fart in the envelope for. I'm just saying. But anyways, that's what I've been doing. What have you been up to?
Well, you've left me with 14 minutes. What do I talk about? Man, which one should I do? I guess there's one of them you're gonna watch, so I won't talk about that.
No, go ahead.
No, you're gonna watch it. And so I'll talk about Alice in Borderland. It's actually been out for a while, and I do feel a little sad because it's one of those ones I saw a while ago. I was like, I should check that out, and then didn't. And then I watched Squid Game, and then Netflix was like, if you like Squid Game, you'll love this. And now every article I see is like, here's why you'll love this show if you love Squid Game. And I was like, damn it, I was aware of it before. I just didn't do it.
There's actually, if you like Squid Game, no,
are you gonna say Sweet Home?
No,
Okay.
I think it's like My Name. I think it's called. It's also on Netflix. I'll look it up, the specific one, but my wife has seen both of them. I've seen parts of both of them, and it's pretty solid.
You didn't watch Squid Game?
No.
It's another one of those like hype train ones that's actually good. It's It's never going to be just like with anything. When everyone goes, it's the best thing ever. No, it's not, but it is really good. Just calm the fuck down and be whelmed about it. It's like fucking Rick and Morty fans. I love Rick and Morty. I hate fans of Rick and Morty.
I feel like we hate fans of a lot of things.
Yeah, that's fair. So Alice in Borderland is a manga turned what are they it's not AMV, it's FMV, whatever, when they take the manga and they turn it into like a couple of movies instead of doing a series with it.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, you've seen the ones where they do that, like they take a whole show and they just chunk it up into like 2 or 3 animated movies.
Yeah, like miniseries kind of thing.
Kinda, yeah. It's really common in the anime world, and it has a little 3-letter thing, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it is right now. But so this is the live action adaptation of it. It is, of course, a dubbed show, dubbed or sub, depending on what you prefer. I do dubbed everything. Really fun. Definitely in this emerging genre of like death games, which I feel like is emerging for a lot of people, but not for like big sci-fi nerds like you and I. Like death games are absolutely a thing and have been for years.
Yeah.
Squid Game has kind of
Battle Royale.
Right. Squid Game has kind of kicked the death game genre into a let's check out more death game stuff.
Okay.
And Alice in Borderland is a fun one. It's almost very The World Ends With You, the DS game that I don't ever stop fucking talking about.
Okay.
And you played Neo, which I still haven't played and I need to, but story for another day. So it's a little bit like that, where these 3 friends are hanging out, doing different things and at different points in their life. When they kind of get in a little bit of trouble and go running from getting a stern talking to from some cops and hide in a bathroom, then the lights flicker and they walk out of the bathroom in the subway tunnel of Tokyo. So go ahead and imagine that crowd in your head, and it's empty. And they go upstairs into downtown Tokyo, and it's empty. And they make their way to Shibuya, and it's empty. Everyone in Tokyo is gone. And then all of a sudden, big billboards and lights light up, and they're led into a death game. And as it goes on, you find out a little bit more about the game and about the other players and about what's going on. I don't want to spoil really anything, because I do think it's really well done. I am. This is where I put on my old Portland hipster hat because, and you were one of the few people who can vouch, I am one of those people who's unlucky enough to really enjoy small subgenres like 2 years before they blow up or so.
Yeah.
But I literally have a comic sitting next to me that I just got done rereading in my big comic reread that I'm always talking about called Deathmatch, which is a Death Game comic series for 3 volumes. Like, I'm a Death Game fan. I've been a Death Death Race even. I really enjoyed the first Death Race.
Yeah.
I like Death Games. Alice in Borderland is a super fun pseudo... God, and what's great is with everything they reveal in the first season, I'm not sure if it's fantasy or if it's sci-fi.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't know.
Yeah.
We really don't know who's putting on the game, how the game is physically functioning. We don't know. And I like that about it. The games are, for the most part, really fun and clever, though there are a couple of games that do this thing that I don't. I really like death game writing when the audience has a chance to figure out the game. It's actually what I like about Saw so much is until you get to the later seasons where like game hosts are cheating, Saw is always defeatable and solvable. That's like the rule of Saw, right? Is the game, you have to be able to complete the game. It's never unfair. And any good death game, I feel, should balance the player's experience with the audience experience. The audience should have a chance to strategize or be able to figure out how to beat the game. And a lot in Alice in Borderland did, but the very first one, the one they pull you in with, you had no way of figuring out the game. And I do think that hurt a lot of my first impression.
Okay.
Because I was worried that was going to be the thing, where it was going to be like, oh, well, unless you somehow considered all of the minute details that there was no way for you to figure out, you couldn't solve it. But they do. There are several games that they do.
Okay, well, not to go too much off topic there, because I know we're running short on time, but how did you feel about Hunger Games in that regard?
I've only seen the movies.
Fair.
I've not
same,
read the books.
Same.
I've only seen the movies.
We're just talking about the films.
I do feel Hunger Games is different because the games are more of a straight-up death match than a series of puzzles or trials, where this is most definitely a series of puzzles and trials. At the end of each game, you earn a playing card. The suit of the card describes what type of game you played, and the number of the card is both the difficulty and how many days off you get from doing another match before a magic sky laser fires out of nowhere and shoots through your brain and kills you.
Oh.
And so there's your big catch, and that's that much I will spoil. I don't really think that's a huge spoiler. If you break the rules, if you don't play a game in the amount of time, if you choose to quit, a giant laser fires out of the sky and pierces through your head, out the bottom of your jaw, you're dead, like magic sky laser. Through buildings, through whatever. Magic sky laser. Yes. So you earn what's called a visa every time you complete a game, and your visa is worth as many days or as on the card. So 3 of Spades gets you a spade type game, and I will not reveal what the honestly, I'm saying almost too much revealing that there are differences with those.
Yep.
But the number is both the difficulty of the game and how many days of a visa you get of not having to go and participate in another game. You can choose to. You are allowed to do another game, but you do not have to until your visa wears off.
Interesting. Okay.
Really fun. For the most part, well voice acted. There's a couple of characters who I'm like, I think you're reading into a character aspect. Dubbed.
Okay.
Dubbed. You can get subbed. It is subbed as well on Netflix, but I do dubbed. And a few of the voice actors, in my opinion, are kind of applying a character trait that they've come up with on their own and is not translating through what is written or what is shown in the show. Just a couple, but there's a few I'm like, you're playing this guy, in my opinion, dumb. and I don't think this character is stupid. But
Ah,
maybe that's me looking
that's
too much or too little
interesting.
at something. I don't know. For the most part, really enjoyed Alice in Borderland, and I can say if you enjoyed Sweet Home, I do think you would enjoy Alice in Borderland. And another one that I'm trying, it's not a death game one, but it's another really good one. And I did start it before Squid Game, damn it. I just didn't finish it before Squid Game. Sweet Home. Just I haven't finished it yet. I'm gonna restart it and watch it with my wife because she really wants to see it. Sweet Home is cool. It's a monster apocalypse.
Okay.
Basically, one day, a bunch of people are out doing their thing when everyone around them starts bleeding from their eyes, coughing up blood, and turns into some form of horrible monster. Not all the same monster. They're all different horrible monsters, and the monsters can't be killed. Dice them up, cut them up. You'll buy yourself time, but they'll just find a way to reconfigure, grow some nasty new appendage, and continue their murder rampage. And so the
Wow.
whole show is about a group of people in an apartment building surviving the monster apocalypse.
Interesting.
Sweet Home's really good. I know you do, and you can't deny this. You do tend to shy away from fad shows. When a lot of people start saying a
Yes.
show's good, you tend to go, I'm not going to fall into your trap and get disappointed. And I think that it's not that you're like, I'm so cool, I'm not going to.
No, no,
I
no, no,
think
no.
people tend to pump stuff up, and you go, well, now you've set a level that it can't hit, and I'm not going to walk
And
into that.
I always revisit. So
Yeah,
like,
it does take you a few years sometimes.
yeah.
You'll
So
get
like
there.
at this point, I'm almost ready to start Game of Thrones.
Sure. God, I recently rewatched them. The last season is. I was really light on the last season when it was live, and now rewatching it as like a streaming run.
Yeah.
Fuck, the last season is bad, bro. Like I actually really want you to see it just so you can make it that far and give me an honest opinion because it's night and day. It's almost like
Okay.
it's different writers and it's not. But really, Squid Game, I do think you would enjoy. I'm not sure because your wife's fear
She saw it.
of her fear of fear, and so did this one fuck her up?
I think she was able to distance herself from it. I'm not
Okay.
even kidding.
Because again, your wife's fine line of fear, I'm never quite sure what is and isn't
so-
scary.
I think it's when there is a unified force that is doing it, especially if it's mysterious. I think that's the line, whether it's alien and it's scary aliens.
But as long as it's motherfuckers doing it, she's in.
uh, yes, especially if it's like, if it's an organization,
Okay.
if it's like the
And
police.
she does seem to lean a little more if it's actiony, right? Like if you can fire
Yeah.
machine guns at it, she's a little
Yeah,
better.
yeah, for sure. Like, so she
Okay.
definitely saw like what is it, Army of the Dead with me.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if she saw Squid Game and even kind of liked it, I do think you would like Squid Game only because most of the puzzles, it's the kind of thing maybe you didn't solve it, but it's like the whole zombie apocalypse plan. You can in your head go, well, shit, this is my approach, you know?
Uh-huh.
And come whether you do succeed or don't succeed, you can feel pretty satisfied with going like, oh man, I lost, but I like,
Yeah.
man, they got me. They're totally right. That's the way to do it, kind of thing, you know?
Okay.
I think most of the puzzles in Alice in Borderland, again, forgive that first puzzle, it's not solvable by the audience, but several others are. And again, I just think right now, a lot of Asian film, Asian television is just plain doing better character work than American stuff is
not just
right now.
not just Asian, just international. Like even
Yeah.
Latin America's got some shows that I've been watching, and I'm like, oh wow, you're bringing it. There was actually a show, I think it was set in Turkey as well, called The Guardian. It was old fashioned fantasy about an ancient order of something or other, and it wasn't bad.
Yeah, and so right now with these like Korean and Japanese shows, I'm just feeling and more so than like Walking Dead was, I guess, our first kind of mainstream step into this whole horror can be drama, drama can be horror, character work can exist in a horror setting. Where I think America got really used to slashers, right? We were like the 80s, we were big into slashers.
Or
And
action horror.
right, and it kind of set a tone for horror where now we're getting this, hey, slow horror can be slow burn, and you can have a lot of character development within horror. And a lot of these Japanese shows are bringing that. And I think Squid Game, weirdly, I think a lot of people would tell you, yes, it's a character piece. I actually really want you to watch it. In my opinion, it's an anti-character piece.
Oh.
The characters
Okay.
start off unlikable, and in my opinion, don't show positive growth.
Okay.
In my opinion, I'm really curious. I do think you should try Squid Game and Alice in Borderland. And the nice thing, one season each right now, pretty quick. Like me and Brooke finished Alice in Borderland in 2 days, but we also started it halfway through the first day and finished it before the end of the second day. So I think you could knock it out and made, like, if you were doing it as your exercise show,
Yeah.
you could knock both shows out in 2 weeks, like a week each.
Yeah, the
done.
next couple of weeks are going to be chaos for me. I probably won't be able to focus on anything until after.
Oh, hey, I'm not telling you to do it right now, but I'm just like,
No,
I
I'm
think
just
it
talking
is
about like
quick
yeah.
and digestible for you.
Yeah,
So on that
we'll
note,
see.
play us out, killer.
Oh,
Wait, let me give Alice in Borderland a rating. Let's go. Man, because it's only one season, and I'll be honest, I'm gonna shoot low so that I can give season 2 an easy bar to hit. So let's call it 3 magic sky lasers out of 5, hoping that season 2 can keep the momentum and up the show a notch.
Okay, and magic sky lasers are a good thing.
I mean, I like them. Watching a motherfucker go,
Hey man, you're the one rating it, so on your scale,
Yeah.
yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's
All
great.
right.
it's so
Cool.
great to see, like, some guy go, ugh, and the thing go, bing, and he's dead.
All right. Boop. All right. And on that
Magic
note,
sky boop.
check us out Monday nights in 5D podcast on YouTube. Also Tuesdays, twitch.tv/metagame network. We do multiplayer night. Next live show I won't be around for because I will be trolloping in another country. For both the metagame and also the podcast. So
Maybe I'll do something. Play it by ear.
sounds pretty affirmative that nothing will be happening. And on that note, final words.
Maybe.
Bye.